Welcome to the Breakdown with INFB. I'm your host, Heidi Gant. So last month, we interviewed our youth engagement coordinator, Annie Romine, about all the fun things Farm Bureau does with young people to foster a love and appreciation of Indiana agriculture. So we're just going to continue on that young farmer train and focus on our college age members. The Collegiate Farm Bureau program offers leadership and engagement opportunities for students, encompassing career development, service learning, scholarship assistance, and professional networking. For only $20 a year, your student membership opens the door for opportunities that can last a lifetime. So today we're talking to representatives from our 3 Collegiate Farm Bureau chapters at Huntington, Purdue, and Vincennes University. So welcome Jaden, Tara, and Emma to the podcast. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to start out with each of you. I want each of you to introduce yourselves and where you go to school and your tie to agriculture. So Tara, let's start with you.
Hi, I'm Tara. I'm originally from Jasper County, Indiana, and I am a senior accounting major at Huntington University. You may think accounting has nothing to do with ag, but I grew up on a small row crop farm of about 300 acres, and I married into a dairy family. So through those opportunities, I've just seen the impact for not only agriculture, but also having strong business leaders as well as strong financial advisors within the agriculture community to support our farmers.
Awesome. Thank you, Tara. Jaden, what about you?
Yes. So first and foremost, Heidi, thank you for having all 3 of us on this podcast. I'm Jaden Simpson. I'm a senior at Purdue, majoring in ag econ with a concentration in policy and pre-law. My background in agriculture, I grew up on my family's multi-generational Hereford cattle operation. Some of my family does row crop, but I primarily focus on the cattle end of things. We raise and show Hereford cattle across the country, and I just finished my junior career up, and so now starting to turn the wheels a different direction for our operation and on the selling end rather than keeping and showing and retaining all ourselves.
Okay. Thank you, Jaden. Emma, what about you?
Like Heidi said, my name's Emma Beaning. I go to school here at Vincennes, but I'm originally from Du Bois County, Indiana, down south. I grew up on about 260-acre livestock farm. We did sheep and cattle. I always showed sheep. I was a 10-year 4-H member. We just recently sold our sheep because I got out of 4-H and there wasn't really anyone else to show after me. We still got some cattle. It's all my grandpa right now. Some of his sons are starting to get into it. But I'm hoping to bring my education here as a 3rd-year agribusiness major back to the farm to see if I can bring more modern agribusiness into it than just what my grandpa's been doing for 80 some years.
Okay, interesting. So a few of you touched on exactly what some of the questions that I want to ask you today. So why was it important for all of you to get involved at the collegiate level in Farm Bureau? Has your families been involved in Farm Bureau in the past, or has it just been kind of you were involved in 4-H FFA and this was just kind of a natural next step for you? Jaden, we'll start with you.
So my path into Collegiate Farm Bureau kind of is not traditional, so to speak. I really didn't realize we had a Collegiate Farm Bureau chapter here at Purdue until I was the intern at the State House with Indiana Farm Bureau. And so I learned about it from Tracy there in the office, and so she told me about it. And I jumped in as soon as I got back to campus that next fall and started talking to some people. Eventually ended up now being the president of the organization and just growing and learning through that and learning more about Farm Bureau every day. And so that's kind of the way I got involved with it. My family's not perennial Farm Bureau people. We are insurance members, but that's about it. And so joining the ranks of Farm Bureau and seeing everything that it does other than insurance was a great step in the right direction for me.
Emma, what about you?
Like I said, I grew up, I think I'm the 6th generation on the farm. So I like to say it's all I've ever known. Growing up on the farm, going outside my front door, there's the barn. But I was in, 4-H for 10 years, FFA for about 4 years. I got my Hoosier degree, my American degree. So, I mean, I would say it was pretty natural for me to go into it. I could have steered away. I did think about it, but in the end, I was like, this is my passion. This is what I want to do.
Yeah, great. Tara, what about you?
So my journey to Farm Bureau was a little different. Growing up, I was never involved in 4-H, and my high school was so small, we did not have an FFA chapter. We actually didn't get our first ag teacher until I was a junior in high school. So it wasn't until then that I had my eyes open just to how big agriculture is. So coming to HU, I was looking for an opportunity just to get involved more in agriculture, as well as surround myself with peers who had the same interest. And that's kind of how I stumbled across Collegiate Farm Bureau.
That's awesome. So it just goes to show that all of you can come to it through different paths. And I think that's the same thing with Farm Bureau outside of college as well. Like actual young Farm Bureau members can all come in different paths. You can all have different backgrounds and still do the same things. So let's kind of talk about agriculture involvement today. What are some of the biggest challenges or opportunities that you all see in youth involvement in agriculture? I feel like the culture is just a little bit different than it was in you all's parents' age, grandparents' age, and being involved in things like this. Do you think with the rise of like social media and technology and things like that, do you think people are less and less getting involved in big organizations like this and getting involved in advocating for agriculture? What are your all's thoughts? I don't care who takes this one.
I mean, I don't think it's stopping anyone. I think it's bringing people together more because they don't have to go to a set meeting in person once a month. They have the opportunity to be online. They can stay from home. Like, they have kids. They can't get a babysitter, you know. But I definitely think now it is a lot different than our parents' age, to where now we're kind of worried about succession and like passing the farms down and everything.
Yeah.
We just talked about this in my public policy class last night. We did like a mock discussion meet about succession and what Farm Bureau can do for the older farmers to bring in the younger generation when they might not want to let go of everything yet.
Yeah. What can they do? That's a great next question. What do you guys think that the older generation can do to get more people involved or even interested in wanting to do agriculture as a career? Tara or Jaden?
I think the main thing is just exposure. So whether that's bringing more people to the farm so they actually understand what does agriculture look like, because you hear all of these big scary stories of they're using chemicals and that leaches into your water and that affects health, or they're using certain vaccines on animals and all of this scary things that agriculture is kind of painted as today. But how can we actually educate people, especially younger people, on all of the good that agriculture does? And then kind of with Farm Bureau as well, just having people understand more of how much good work Farm Bureau does on behalf of farmers and just even property owners as a whole across the nation. So that way we can better grow that understanding and involvement in agriculture and Farm Bureau.
That's great. Jaden, what do you think?
Yeah. And to piggyback off of that, I think it's difficult. It's difficult to let go, and I know it's hard for me to let go of a lot of things. I know it's hard for my the older generations, especially in my family, to let go of certain things. And so I think too, with that letting go is also bringing in new ideas, bringing in fresh ideas. I know the younger generation brings in a lot of new ideas, especially when it comes to matters like sustainability and thinking about the climate conversation. I worked within the sustainability sector the summer after my sophomore year, and just creating a conversation around that and bringing farmers to the table, the older generation to sometimes listen to the younger generation, sometimes listen to others within their generation of different ideas of how we can continue to help our footprint, so to speak, in those matters. I think too, just understanding that there's an opportunity to learn on both ends. And so, the younger farmer, the younger generation can learn from the older generation and what they're doing, but there's two sides of the road, right? And so something like I'm a big policy guru, as you know, Heidi,
Mm.
and I watched some of the legislation that goes through, and there's a beginning farmer tax credit that has been talked about, kicked around, and that just knowing that there's a way that the younger farmer can jump into the
Hmm.
agriculture sector. And I know with land prices and equipment prices, everything's just crazy right now. For somebody, I just know what my bank account looks like. I don't know about you, Tara and Emma, but it's just so hard to jump into something if you don't already have it in your family. And so if there's not so much a succession plan of the next one in line doesn't want the farm, how are we going to move that to somebody that wants to do it, that wants to be back involved in agriculture? And I think that's something that we can also talk about within that older generation, younger generation conversation.
Yep. Great points. Love that. Yeah, I think an interesting stat that we use a lot is from the 2022 ag census. The average age of a farmer in Indiana is 56 years old. So that's right in front of retirement age. So I think it is really important that we do focus on our younger generation and getting more people excited about entering that. So anything that we can do to encourage that, definitely we count on you all to let us know how we can be helping. So we always want to hear from you. Don't ever be afraid to like contact us or like let us know some of your concerns, or like, hey, if you just like focus more on this, I think you get people more involved. I think we're always willing to listen to that. But so I think that's super important. There's also things that you all do at the Collegiate Farm Bureau level. Will you just, for people who don't know or have never been involved in a Collegiate Farm Bureau chapter, can you guys just describe what it all entails? I know you meet like what, monthly? What do you chat about? What are some different opportunities that you guys take advantage of as a Farm Bureau member?
I can jump in on that. So here at Purdue, we meet once a week, or not once a week, gosh, once a month. I don't think I have enough time in my schedule to meet once a week.
Yeah, I bet.
Once a month, and so each month we have Chick-fil-A. That's always our staple. We have
Nice.
Chick-fil-A cake
Can I
that
come?
comes in, and yeah, you're more than
Yeah.
welcome, Heidi. Come on down. Our first meeting is here in a couple of days.
Nice.
So yeah, but we each month we have a different guest speaker come in and chat about different sectors of the ag industry. Like in the past, we had Director Don Lamb come in and speak. We've had Representative Kendall Culp. He's come in and speak. And then this semester we have a lineup of um, different sectors of the ag industry. We have somebody from ag communications. We have some ag teachers coming in to talk about what advocacy for agriculture looks like in their classrooms. And so different opportunities like that we take advantage of to bring some different people in so that we can build connections and also still be able to grow in kind of a smaller, more intimate setting with one another. And so our membership here at Purdue is not as high as what probably is seen at Huntington and VU, just because we have a lot of competition in terms
Mm,
of how many people, like how many option clubs there are here,
yeah.
and how people want to spend their time. And so we have over 30 option clubs here in the College of Agriculture alone, and so just trying to compete with those is insane, just to get into people's calendars. And so, but we do take advantage of those times where we have a lot of people, we have not a lot of people that come sometimes, and just being able to grow together and use that time as fellowship and building connections is great. And then one last thing I like to hit on is probably my favorite thing is the state house visits. I started that when I got elected to be the president a couple of years ago, and so we each year during session we go to the state house, we meet with our legislators, and it was awesome. Last year we were able to connect with our regional managers, and we were able to portion off of what district we were in, and so we could really focus on who we needed to speak to in those roles. And so that was really fun, and that's an opportunity I look forward to continue here in the future.
That's awesome. Emma or Tara, any unique things that you all are doing in your chapters?
So, Huntington University Collegiate Farm Bureau has a really interesting relationship with our county board. The college has two liaisons who are voting members of the county board as well. So I am one of those liaisons. So my job is to represent the college at those county board meetings. So once a month, as well as our meetings on campus, I also go and attend that county board meeting. So just kind of seeing what that looks like, what Farm Bureau looks like beyond to that county level,
Yeah.
but also that fact that our college has a voice on the county board is a really cool experience as well.
Yeah, what a great like transition after you graduate to have already had that experience. So that's awesome. What about you, Emma?
So we call it our ABT club. Agribusiness and technology is basically what our Collegiate Farm Bureau is to Vincent's. We meet usually about twice a month. Most of our meetings will have food at kind of an incentive for people to come. My spiel was always like, were you an FFA in high school? So this is your next step. We don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily do all the contests that you do in FFA, but we do a lot of networking with like local businesses. We go on a lot of tours. We have several guest speakers that come in. We don't really have any planned out yet. That's something we have to get on,
It's
but
still early. Yeah.
yeah, it's still second month of school.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of networking. And then, like Tara said, we also have somebody on our Knox County Farm Bureau board. We only have two professors down here. We're still kind of small, but one of them, she is on the board, so she goes to all those. Sometimes we'll go with her to those meetings, more like to represent the school because they did just give us I believe it's $100,000 donation to our greenhouse that we're going to
Oh,
build.
that's
So
awesome.
we're really grateful for them, and we're like, if you need anything, we're here for you.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Well, and speaking of contests, I know discussion meet, obviously we have that at the young farmer ag professional level, but we also have collegiate discussion meet. I know a couple of you, have all three of you participated in that or yes? Yeah. Emma, have you done that yet? Okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about discussion meet. Um, Obviously, at the collegiate level, I think it's pretty much the same thing as we do at our young farmer ag professional level as well. But like, talk a little bit about that experience in doing discussion meet and what that is.
I think for me, the coolest thing about discussion meet was just the opportunity to learn more about issues in agriculture and then that fact that you have to deep dive and find what are the facts, what is actually going on. And a huge part of discussion meet is talking about realistic solutions. So it's one thing just to talk about all the problems, but actually to brainstorm solutions and how we can bring those solutions out into the real world was very interesting and just a good discussion to have, especially as we are the emerging generation.
Mm-hmm.
So having those wheels turning, it's very exciting to see all the change that I think our generation will do.
That's great. Jaden, what about you?
Yeah, so I would say one of my favorite things about being part of the discussion meet is just hearing about where people come from. And so, like, I was able to do the discussion meet here at Purdue, and then I was also part of the Young Farmer one at State Convention in December. And so, just learning about where people are from, what's going on in their part of the state, just being able to learn and use everyone's ideas to come up with a good solution that can be um, as close to one size fits all as we can get. Because we all know that we can't get to a one size fits all solution everywhere, but as close as we can get by using everyone's expertise, what everybody knows about is really interesting and really cool to me, and that's what I like probably the most.
And you know what's interesting is that Indiana, even though we're all in the same state, yeah, like southern Indiana is so much different than central Indiana versus northern Indiana. And then when you go to AFBF, the American Farm Bureau discussion meet, those are interesting to listen to as well because you'll have people from Utah talking to someone from Florida and all the different issues that people deal with in different, it's just so fascinating to me, like all the different issues that we have in agriculture. They're very numerous. So
Yeah.
learn something new every day for sure.
Yeah, and like I was out at the Young Farmer, well, I guess it was the Fusion Conference, watching Lily compete this past year, and just listening to the different conversations, especially around water, and all the people out
Yes,
west that were talking about water,
right.
and it just the way that it all comes together is just kind of crazy, but it's just really interesting to listen to how how everybody else sees agriculture, because it's a lot different than what we see it as here in some places.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, so we are just a couple months into the school year. Can people still get involved in your Collegiate Farm Bureau chapters if we do have any students listening who aren't involved? And if so, how can they do that? How can they reach each of your chapters? Emma, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so I mean, they can get a hold of any of the officers. Where someone's always around. You can get a hold of either of our professors here. Just show up to a meeting. We've got food. Why not show up?
Nice.
We'll put out stuff all over our social media. We've got stuff posted all over the Ag Center here.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, just ask.
Good. Awesome. Jaden, what about you?
Yeah, so we post a lot of stuff on our social media. Tatum does a great job with that. Tatum is just great at our social media, and so I'm trying to pull it up on my phone here.
I think we might.
I was on Instagram.
I was gonna say I think we might link to it on our Collegiate Farm Bureau page on our website. So
okay, perfect.
Yeah,
yeah. So everything will be posted on social media. If you talk to one of our officers, like they'll be able to help you steer you in the right direction. We only meet once a month, and so that also is good for people's schedules. And so if you're interested at Purdue and joining our efforts to advocate for agriculture here on campus and learn more about it, more than welcome. Always come out. We're usually in the basement of ABE in one of those classrooms, and so pretty easy to find for those of us that are at Purdue. And so, yeah, we'd love to have any and all that would like to come to Collegiate Farm Bureau.
Awesome. Cool. Tara.
So for us, we meet the second Friday of every month at noon, and we always have lunch. So I think our first month we're doing Chick-fil-A, similar kind of to Purdue. And then as well, we post all of our stuff on our Instagram page of all of our upcoming events that we're doing.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you, all three of you, for joining me today and talking more about Collegiate Farm Bureau. I hope to see more of all three of you in the future and stuff that we do at the state level, but bright future ahead of us. Thank you for being the next generation of our ag professionals and farmers, and wish you all the best in your school years. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes,
Thanks,
thank
Heidi.
you.
Thank you, Heidi.
If you enjoyed our conversation today, make sure to subscribe to The Breakdown with INFB and even rate and review us to let us know how we're doing. For more information, visit www.infb.org/podcast.